I'm going to let you guys take it away here with your slide, and I know you're going to be presenting together.
Great, I'm on. Junia, are you on?
I'm on, I'm ready. Does it sound okay?
Great, go ahead. Yep.
Great. Good evening. Julia and I collaborated to develop a training packet called A Middle School Guide to Advanced Online Searching. Because we both work at middle schools with one-to-one device programs and wanted to create self-paced online tutorials that our students can access 24/7 to guide them through the basic steps of conducting an advanced online search. We decided to focus on two popular search tools among students, Google and ProQuest. Our goal was threefold: to teach students how to search effectively, to compare the strengths and weaknesses of Google versus ProQuest, and to develop a template for creating those tutorials so that we could, at a later date, easily develop additional how-to videos explaining how to use all the search tools our students have access to.
Our students are all familiar with basic online searching using popular search engines, our online catalog, and social media sites. But their searches are typically unplanned, disorganized, and short-lived when a first attempt fails to produce a quick answer. While Google tends to be the first stop for all research needs, the majority of students are unaware of or don't know how to use Google's advanced search options. Students are equally unskilled in accessing information from the library's paid online resources. Yet teachers from both schools regularly assign research-driven projects that require the use of print and online resources. The tutorials in our training packet are an attempt to provide our research expertise when and where students need it most, which is often at home the night before an assignment is due. In that sense, our tutorials complement the flipped classroom learning model. Not only can teachers set their students up for productive class time by assigning these videos for homework, but students can access information as the need arises.
To develop the tutorials, we chose a topic we felt might shock, or at least interest, middle school students, identifying the benefits of getting a tattoo for a debate or position paper on the topic. Those tutorials discuss synonym usage and tool-specific features that will help find best results. We haven't recorded the tutorials yet because we'd like input from the class on two areas we're finding the most challenging. The first question we have is whether we're on track with the scope of these tutorials. For instance, should they just focus on the mechanics of conducting an online search with these two tools, or go into more detailed discussions that include developing a search strategy or trying post-search tactics like pearl hunting. These discussions are applicable to any search tool, so they could stand as video tutorials on their own, but will students watch two videos?
The other factor we're struggling with is length. Our current scripts run from 7 to 10 minutes long, and they do include some of the deeper search strategy discussions, but we feel that our students will only focus long enough for a 2 to 3 minute video, so how long is too long? We value your input, advice, and feedback, particularly if you notice we've forgotten an important piece. We're also curious if anyone has experience getting students to offer feedback. We know that will be critical to the success of these and future tutorials. Thank you.
All right, I know we posed several questions there at the end. Does anyone want to offer thoughts on the first question? Should tutorials focus on just the mechanics of conducting an online search, using these tools to go into deeper instruction, like search strategies or what to do when you get no results? Anyone interested in speaking to that?
Can you take the questions in the hand raise order? That might work because you have a lot of feedback going on here.
Oh, there we go. Right on. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, this is a great idea, I think, and I'll keep it quick because it looks like we've all got a lot of thoughts on this. But I mean, you know, when it comes to the relative merits of the two, I guess it makes more sense to me to focus on the sort of theory aspect of it, you know, helping them to prepare for proper searches, because when it comes to the mechanics of the tools, you know, obviously that kind of thing will change, but, you know, good habits when it comes to preparing, I mean, that's always going to be handy, right? But, you know, maybe you could touch on both if you did so in sort of a brief way in, you know, one reasonably brief video. I realize that's challenging, but anyway, this is a great idea, I think.
Thank you. Yeah, it's always a question of do we have a huge library of these later on? So there's one that does theory and one that does mechanics. Try to do it all in one. What's the exact right developmental level of a middle schooler? Those are all really tricky questions. Justin, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd probably second what Solomon was saying, just because the mechanics is good knowledge, but the strategies will actually help them across any sort sort of platform, because those things are the ones that translate further. So if in terms of like long-lasting education, strategies might be the better focus.
Nice. 2 votes for theory and strategy. Or were you? Go ahead, Julia.
Oh, no, I was just laughing because Junia and I have been going back and forth over with this, and both of us, or at least I was like really leaning toward the actual mechanics, because we're talking about middle school students who, type in their entire question into the Google search bar and don't really know, some of the more detailed, the finesse of searching for those. So it's interesting to get this kind of feedback, but let's see, who is next? Did Justin already speak? Or Elizabeth?
I've done some work with both middle school, and I currently work with interesting high schoolers. And if you're going to do mechanics, you probably need to keep it to very practical material, because let's be honest, most middle schoolers are incredibly hands-on. So if you go into abstract, they're not going to understand what you're doing. They'll just look at it, roll their eyes, and go off and put all their question into the Google search again.
I'm laughing because you're so right. Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what we're looking for from some of you who have such experience with middle schoolers.
That Susan had to look up what flipped library meant, and we talk about this a little bit in the instructional piece that accompanies the training packets. And so flipped classroom is offering instruction as homework and practice in the classroom. So lectures could be read at home or watched on video, and then students go into the classroom and they actually do work. So teachers, instead of lecturing, are there actually coaching and mentoring and working one-on-one with students. So that's sort of what that was.
Elizabeth, go ahead. I see your hand is up, Elizabeth. Did you want to speak some more?
Flipped classrooms only work if there is somebody in the background pushing them to do the homework. They recently tried it with my Job Corps students, and our current observation is that the vast majority of them refused utterly to do their homework because it's done on their time, and then nothing gets done at all. So it's kind of an interesting concept, but it only works if you have an awful lot of assistance.
That's a really good point. When we were reading the research, that was coming up a lot. In our training packet, we talk about the constructivism and self-regulation theories as well, learning theories. And then in the instructions, we actually do a big segment on sort of how to lead them through doing it. So it has to be when it's a real research project that's coming, real time, real life, actual experience that they're going to need to do this for. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
Junia, if I can also just jump in, I noticed there were a lot of comments on time, which was our other big question, and I'm seeing mostly 2 to 3 minutes here. Does anyone sort of think beyond that or differently?
For this age group, I think 2 to 3 minutes would be just perfect. No more than that, I think.
Great. Well, thank you. I think our very last question was that, was there any, what's the best way to get feedback from students on something like this? Are there any success stories out there?
Oh, Brittany, if your hand is up, go ahead.
Thanks. When I did an information literacy class at a middle school, what I had them do, and I mean, this way you'd have to kind of, have the teachers administer it, but I wanted to see like where their information literacy was when they started the class and then where it was when the class ended. So I actually had them do a Survey Monkey survey right at the beginning of the class, and then it was like it was a 2-month thing where they came in once every week, and so at the end of that, I had them do a survey at the end. Of course, you probably could do it in simpler ways for the teachers by like raising hands or something like that.
Excellent suggestion. Assessment is such an important part of all of these theories in this kind of packet, for sure. Thank you.
I also think, yeah, the ease of SurveyMonkey would also actually work really well with at least my middle school students. So thank you for that suggestion.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
I think too, maybe with this age group, if you want to encourage them to actually fill in the survey, you might want to offer them some kind of reward afterwards, like maybe put their names in to a draw, and maybe one of their names could be, you could get a gift card or something for them. But just a suggestion.
Either that or a grade, right? Gotta threaten them with something. I mean, reward.
Candy bars work really well.
Yeah.
When I was doing mine for the information literacy, we were working with the police department, because the police department grant with the library and the police department, and these were high-risk teens that, middle schoolers, and they say that like middle school is your last chance to kind of get them from potentially being, in and out of prison and juvenile detention and that kind of thing. And a lot of these kids already had been arrested, so the police were able to take like points off their record, like some sort of expungement type thing. Not that you're necessarily working with high-risk kids, but if you are, that was definitely a motivator.
It's such a fascinating topic. I don't want to get too far from our project here, but incentive learning is so tricky. The students I work with mostly have learning differences, and so we're always trying to help them see that the different ways that they are successful are of equal value. And so if we say, oh, if you read this many pages, you get a lollipop or something, then that's setting somebody up for a low self-esteem or frustration or something. So just, yes, it's a fine line to walk, and that might be too much of a tangent.
Yeah, tricky stuff. The way you set up the environment, not just for rewards, but other ways. Well, you generated a lot of interest here, both of you. I can't wait to see this. Really great job. I think we'll move forward, but applause once again for both of you. Really great job. Okay, I think that was an applause click from Angela.